Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Handsome Samson Dos Equis, Leonardo DiCaprio Pro, Quentin Tarantino Pro, but sometimes y'all call me Pro for short.
And it's your boy R.U.D.Y. It stands for Realize Your Destiny is Yours because it is, but you can call me Rudy.
And this is episode 25 of the XX Files.
Yes, sir.
And as we always do, y'all give yourselves a round of applause. So with that being said, you know, I'm never going to leave out my family. Today's guest is somebody who doesn't just make art. She builds an atmosphere. Her work lives in feeling, in reflection, and in the things people don't always have a language for. She's a multidisciplinary artist, writer, and performer from Memphis, and one of the creative voices inside the unapologetic ecosystem. Her latest work, Slightly Sacred, isn't just a song. It's a conversation about power, identity, and the parts of ourselves we protect. This episode is about inner worlds, outer systems, and what happens when a woman starts trusting her own voice. Welcome to the XX Files, Nubia.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
What a beautiful introduction.
Come on
I was
now.
over here getting
That
a
was
little
fire.
emotional.
Yeah, you know, I'm always going to make sure the
Yeah.
fam bam is taken care of. And this is actually, outside of the weirdo, this is actually another unapologetic first. So I'm happy to have you
cool.
here to not only just be on this interview, but to actually talk Slightly Sacred and,
Yes,
and to get
thank
into
you.
all of the things, you know. So with that being said, you definitely did just drop Slightly Sacred. That is your single. And to the world, everybody's listening, what does Slightly Sacred actually mean to you?
So, let me take this gum out of my mouth. Hold on. Okay.
Nice. Professional.
So
Professional.
Slightly Sacred is a song about power. It's about power dynamics, specifically like the protagonist, if you will, like the main character, the speaker of the song is not me. It's a masculine figure. It can be a man, but gender is not super important. It's just a masculine figure who identifies as like a sadist. And he's basically talking to his masochist, who is feminine coded, and telling her that like all this you're obviously looking for something through this submission to me, but I know I'm not as big as you're acting like I am, and I'm enjoying this too much to like tell you to stand up. So like I'm enjoying this. Basically, that's like it's a song of him taunting her and just saying that there's nothing that I don't deserve this and I'm gonna take it anyway. And I'm using that as like a metaphor for the way that people mislabel what power actually is in the world. They like prostrate to false leaders, false power, period. I think people, when you don't get really good examples of authoritative control that is like cooperative and like pro-social, you just end up attaching the label powerful to things that are not necessarily that powerful. Like this is not true power. This is not true control. This is like intimidation. And you're like leading with fear and not like respect for the thing.
Right.
And I think that even bleeds into the way that people like interpret God's presence in their life too. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there because I can go.
I wasn't gonna stop. I wasn't gonna stop.
I'm
You
listening.
cooking.
Yeah,
You're
you
cooking, and we're definitely gonna get into power dynamics as you speak. So, speaking about that, what makes something sacred? With all of that being said, in today's world for you,
I love this question. This is a good question. Okay, let me think about it for a second. I think what makes something sacred is attention. Anything can be sacred. It's like I wrote this thing in my notes one time. It's basically like there is sacredness in profane things that we can touch with our senses, things that we can understand. The sacredness is that you know that you can never understand this thing fully. That is that is what's
That's deep.
sacred.
That's
and
powerful.
So,
I
yeah,
like
that
that.
makes everything sacred
Wow.
in my mind.
I've never looked at sacred as something sacred. Like I'll never fully understand it, and so that's why I'll be forever intrigued or in awe of this thing.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, I think that is when I feel like I always had like a passive kind of like accepting it without thinking about it relationship with God when I was little. But then when I got older and like really formed a more intentional connection and understanding with God, like that's where God is for me. In the knowing that I cannot understand everything and that I can't hold the whole of things in my human hands because I am like deliberately made flawed in that way, and we all are. And I think that, damn, I lost my track. But that's
No, I think
I'm following. I was gonna ask. I guess with that, where did that understanding lead you to when you started looking at things through that perspective?
yeah. When I started looking at things through that perspective, it gave me permission to look at like, it gave me permission to expand my my questions. It gave me permission to expand my questions, because asking questions cannot be disrespectful if I acknowledge that God knows more than I ever could.
Right.
And so, and I was created with a curious mind. So I should pursue answers to my questions and know that I will never get all of them. And that's how I remain loyal. Like, that's how you make sure that you're staying in a human's place.
Man,
I think
that's how I feel like that's how you stay an artist while you explain
that
it.
too,
for
that
sure.
too, yeah. But I think that so much shame I had around like talking, because the song is very deliberately sexual too. I think that's also a necessary piece of information as to why I'm talking about God when like the song is not about God. It's because I think a lot of people have a particular shame that separates these three concepts for them: God, sex, and creation. But those things are linked.
Yeah,
They really are.
literally.
Honestly,
I was
you
like,
when you're
damn.
in the middle of having sex, a lot of times, oh my God,
Yes,
you're
no.
calling out
Those
to God.
things are-
And
those
sometimes
things
it's
are
sex, you
linked.
know.
And
But
that's
we-
the act of creation, of creating
Exactly.
something.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And it's like, it's not to say that I think the distinction that people need to, that they start to get afraid is because, one, they think sex is inherently dirty. They think that they are inherently dirty. So anything that has to do with the body cannot be connected to God, and you cannot talk about these things in the same place. But I think that we must talk about these things in the same place, because, one, a lot of like harm is getting birthed in this area where we keep sex in this like shameful back room, and two is because it's like it's making people not respect sex and connection and like and all these things, because they don't see the God in everything that we are experiencing as people.
Yeah.
How do you deal with, first off, amazing perspective, but how do you deal with the catch-22? Because in certain ways, sex is beautiful, but in certain ways, it can be conveyed as it's just misused. And so I guess, how do you deal with that catch-22 to where you do see it in this beautiful light, but sometimes it is misused in a way to where it's not?
Yeah, I kind of think of, damn. Okay, there are a couple tiers to this answer. I'm gonna try to start with the most easily understandable one. Rephrase that question one more time, so I can make sure I answer it.
Just more so, I'm answering you. You said,
how do I deal with the fact that like it's an important thing, but it is misused often?
Yes.
Okay, I think about weed and shrooms the way that I think about sex.
Okay.
People.
Okay.
That's
People
interesting.
like either have a like that's bad, I don't do that feeling about it,
Okay.
or they feel like there's two extremes. You can be like, I hate this thing is bad, this thing is bad for people, I'm not going to engage with it, because if I engage with it I will be irresponsible, this, that, and the third. You hear how that's like, okay. And then on the other extreme, you can also be someone who overindulges when it is not appropriate and when it's not pushing you forward and like helping you grow. And
Hey,
like, so
now.
then
No
in that
balance.
way, in both, no balance, in both extremes, they're not showing the accurate amount of respect for the substance. And so I feel like we deal with sex in that way too, where people are either like really, really like tense around the subject and don't want to explore it within themselves or externally. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. And there's a large section of people who are like that but still do it, which is even worse. And then there are people who like they don't treat it with the respect that it demands. And that doesn't mean that you should only, the same way that I don't mean for drugs. It's like, it doesn't mean you should only smoke every 6 months on like a full moon. Like you make your own choices for what makes sense for your life, but you need to be respecting it. Is what I think.
No, for sure. I understand with these questions, any of these questions can turn into a deep dive. So I made sure I was really specific on what I asked. So, well, with these things that you have learned from yourself, to get to this point, what part of you had to die? No, let me rephrase that question. What part of you had to unalive for this version of Nubia to exist?
Oh man. Yeah. I think the version of me that thought that playing small would earn me love had to not exist anymore. She had to step away from the reins so that a different version of me can take the reins. Because I don't think she would ever like go away fully. There's just a part of me that is always like that I'm still working through that. And maybe like a future version of me won't feel so compelled to like shrink myself in a room full of people. But I had to do the opposite in order to be brave enough to start telling the truth about what I think and feel about things. And this is a song that I would never be able to write or put out in the world, and the packaging that I've been able to put it in, if I still cared as much as I used to about what people thought of me. I'm like caring less and less and less every day.
I love that bit of freedom that you're receiving, and what's coming about from that. Do you ever actually mourn like that past version of yourself?
Yeah, I do. I still do. I'm still mourning it. And I still feel like it's still like lingering sometimes. Like I still have a difficult time a lot of the times breaking the patterns. But I think I'll probably be mourning it for as long as I am remembering. And I think that's going to be a really long time because there's a lot of information in that time of my life still. I haven't learned all the lessons. So I'll be mourning for a while, I think.
Put it in the music like you do.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the best way. That's why we artists.
So speaking about power and power dynamics, how do power dynamics show up in creative spaces for you?
Ooh, okay.
Talk about it. It's your ocean.
Yeah. Damn. I got to figure out where I want to approach. It's like a big ass pizza, and I'm like, where do I want to start? I think I'll start with the fact that I notoriously am a to a fault one woman show most of the time. I'm not a natural at collaboration, and I think that made joining this team intimidating because it meant that I had to be visible before I felt like something was like done.
You had to be vulnerable.
I had to be vulnerable in a way that I was not prepared for or not like used to.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm not used to something, I immediately put myself at the bottom of the like hierarchy within my mind.
Do you think that's the humility thing? I'm not trying to cut you off.
I think it is. I think that is the positive version of it that I should keep.
Yeah.
But I think that there is some like undercurrent that's not so useful for me that I end up pedestalizing people and then just getting really like worried about how I'm moving, how I'm being perceived, and if I'm good enough, and then that like makes me not as sharp and not as able to like communicate my brilliance because I know it's there and I want to be a service to the team in that way. But like if I'm too worried about whether or not I'm doing a good enough job, I won't do a good enough job.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think it's good. But I do want to keep the humility part because I think that's how you learn.
Okay. What about the power dynamic in creative spaces? I didn't want to cut you off.
So that was the power dynamic. Power dynamic is that I normally, when I'm new to something, if I'm collaborating, more than likely, I have a really hard time with moderation. That's what it is. So when it comes to creative spaces, power dynamic stuff. Wait, when you say creative spaces, are you talking about collaborative spaces or are you talking about like the arts community? Like, what do you
I got you. I guess it was very vague. Now, when I say power dynamics, more so in situations, do you feel as though when in creating, people may take control or try to...
Then I was about to answer your question. Yeah, so I either position myself to be the person whose ideas will stick the least, or I have to be the one who what I say go. I have a really difficult time in the middle,
in between,
because I don't really know what to do in that middle space. So then I just feel and end up being really ineffective.
Now, my second part to that question. Now, I know you speak about power dynamics in society, but in creative spaces, I feel like, do you find more? No, I have to have ownership of this because it's something closer to my heart. I guess in those power dynamics, or do you see it the same as society, or do you fight with the same like vigor about power dynamics in creative spaces as in society at the same time?
Yeah, I was just having a conversation about this, I think. First of all, let me make sure I understand your question. Are you saying that is the way that I deal with power dynamics in my arts process the same as other areas of my life?
Yep.
Okay, amazing. It's the opposite. I think when it comes to my art, I am most compelled to be the one who would I say go. And I have a difficult time with any other arrangement. So then even if I'm like fully invested in an idea, if I'm not the one spearheading, and this is me being really vulnerable and honest right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If I'm not the one who's spearheading it, it's hard for me to fully like understand what's going on. It's just, there's a confusion that lives in me if I'm not the one who's like making the calls, like for what to step forward creatively. But when it comes to every other area of my life, I'm like almost to a fault open to other truths, other directions, other like things. And I think that has like I think that they're in my life right now. The challenge is for them to meet each other. I think in this area of my life, I have been growing more collaborative in the creative area of my life, and that has like greatly benefited me. And then in my real life, like outside of that, I have been becoming less open. So it's like, so I can meet more in the middle, if this is the middle point between both of these things.
No, I feel like that sounds like growth to me. Like so one part of you, while you're growing, one part of you is fading away, while another muscle grows stronger. So no, I respect it. Even when it gets ugly in that perspective, because it's not easy growing in that type of light. But I respect that for you even finding it, even you to be aware that you're going through that in the process. It's crazy. Yeah, I can talk to Nubia about this all day. This is great convos. So back to power and power dynamics. How does power show up in relationships?
Yeah. Well, I have all of it. I'm just kidding. No, I think it's like
He's quick on the draw with that response.
no. I think it's dealer's choice. I feel like and that's my favorite thing about relationships. I know some people like they'll have a like, this is the dynamic I like. This is the one I want to keep doing. And I think that's you. Yeah, you do that too. I don't feel that way. I think it's like a person to person thing.
Yeah.
And I understand very like I understand really well that there's always something for me to learn, no matter the position that I'm playing in the relationship. So like that's the fun thing about relationships for me. And I think that's I wish that more people were more experimental about how they share and wield power in relationships.
What got you to that point?
I got tired of feeling like I wasn't allowed to have any, because I think like some more context for Slightly Sacred is it's a song very much about misogyny. That's why it's like very much a masculine voice speaking to a feminine archetype. It's because when the world that I grew up in, the teaching that I learned about gender was super misogynistic. My dad is super misogynistic. I love him. And he's just a product of his time. But like so much of what he taught me about being a woman and like being in like support of men was like not to my benefit at all. And so then I took those tools and I like applied them to my world, and I kept bumping into men who were mishandling that level of deference. And that's kind of what the song is about. Like this idea that like I can tell that you're stupid because you don't know that you're not supposed to be following me.
Right.
And I'm going to use that
To my advantage.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the world was like, I just kept modeling that. And it wasn't just men. It's like anybody who has a position of power. It seemed like at some point or another, they're going to use this for their benefit and not for the protection of the vulnerable. And I think that I could not let that go. Like as that became more and more into focus, that became my like biggest gripe with this realm, this human realm. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Because like,
They say
I feel
absolute
like-
power corrupts absolutely.
Yes. And I detest that. I don't think that has absolute power. You will never have absolute power. I feel like that's the thing.
Okay, now.
When you feel like you have absolute power, that is when you have forgotten that you can't understand everything. But like I really detest the way that we talk about power, because I think it makes good people feel like you cannot reach for it. You're not allowed to reach for it.
Yeah, that reminds me of something I read in college that spoke about how the oppressor becomes the oppressed and the oppressed becomes the oppressor.
Yeah.
Because the only way the oppressor's ever seen power used or expressed to them has been in a way of putting somebody down.
Exactly.
So if the roles were to reverse, right, and whoever you just put in, whoever is downtrodden, Exhibit A versus the powerful, Exhibit B, if the roles were to flip, they just gonna do to them what was done to them, which continues and just repeats the process, because no one ever seen a healthy way of power being expressed in a healthy fashion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to bring that back to the question about relationships and why it's connected is that like that is, if my relationships, if nothing, because I think I'm non-monogamous specifically for this reason, because we underutilize the tool of relationship with people to teach you how to be a human, to teach you about things, and it gives you like the training ground. If you want to learn about power, you need to learn about it when you're talking to another person. Like there's those dynamics just like ripple out and they become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger in your life. But it's the same. We're all people and we're doing the same shit, and it's just manifesting in different ways. And so I think I really love the format of like intimate relationships with people to understand myself and what I've been learning about how to do this and where that is wrong. I think people don't spend enough time thinking about it, and that's why the oppressor always becomes the oppressed. The lover scorned is gonna be double
hurt
like
people hurt people.
Exactly. It's like because people are not metabolizing these experiences and then test running what they think they're learning.
They're just throwing themselves into the fire and just see what happens. No, fully understand.
And you don't have to do that with multiple people. You can do that with one person. It's just like dealer's choice again. Like, but like I think that people are they're not using the people in their life the right way. Like we're supposed to be like
love is a case by case basis. People try to put a blanket like how to do love. Like if you get in a relationship, no matter how or who you get in a relationship with, you treat them the same way. You do it. You never learn that the intricacies of that particular person.
You're just applying a template, and then you like wondering when friction pops up. It's like, well, I guess this don't work, and it's like you're not even thinking about the fact that you are using a template. You can alter this. Like
you don't have to do this shit. Right.
That's true. That's bad. Now I don't want to cut this off. Rudy, you see the recording joint? You see the red?
Yes, it's on.
Okay.
Blind ass nigga.
I'm blind. I'm like, yo, this is some gold.
I saw you with a panicking. I should have said something sooner, but I thought it was
like,
funny.
I can't tell you. I was like, I don't want to stay in this complete thought, but I don't want you to have to regurgitate this. There's too many gems. So we're gonna cut that part right there. So with all this power talk and all of your thoughts, at this current time, who really holds power in society?
The people, the workers.
The people still to this day, you still believe that people hold the power?
We do. No, I don't. And I ain't even no belief. There's too many of us. We hold the power, but we are not like this. And that's what I'm saying about the way that we talk about power matters. When people think that power is for the cruel and the careless and for the backstabbers and the people who will just do anything to anybody, they think that the powerful, like they end up thinking that the only thing that the weak can do is wait the powerful out.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, you can climb up. You can build your muscles up. You can build your mind up, and you can become the power. And also, we don't have to become anything. If we just stopped, if the workers around the world just like did like, if people just stopped anything, we would have a new system, at least in the works. Like it wouldn't even be that long. Like I think people don't realize that you keep walking forward when you can stop your feet. And if enough people did that, something would change. And that's why I say the people have the power.
You know, this might sound like I hope I don't sound silly in the example that I'm about to use, but you ever seen Bug's Life? Or Ants? No.
Oh,
Ants.
yeah. I know. I already know where you're going
You
with
know
it.
what I'm talking about?
I know the exact scene you're talking about.
The scene where he talks about ants aren't meant to work above ground.
We're usually the Bug's Life than ants. Like
I know. I didn't mean to.
But both of them kind of had.
But they both kind of
had
the same message. But I think Ants was a little bit more militant though.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't as colorful. Like they was in the ground.
Started out.
Like,
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like they weren't playing. Then the crickets come. You supposed to make my food and grow and grow all the.
That was one of those.
You know what I mean? They was trying to radicalize us.
Coded Pixar movies.
Yeah.
You keep going between because what you just said with the crickets, that's Bug's Life.
They're kind of the same movie.
No, it's crickets and ants. That's they arch nemesis. It's them trying to force the ants to to make the food for them. Because you know, you ever heard the story of the grasshopper who was too lazy to make his own food? It's supposed to be like that. He's trying to make the ants get the food for them so that they won't have to work and they can be fine during the winter, and the ants gonna starve because they're gonna take their food from them.
I need to watch Ants again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we watched that.
But thank you for.
But that reminds me of that.
Thank you for telling the people that they still have the power. Power to the people to the end of time. I still do believe that. But I just believe in your passion and like, no, the people still have the power. We just got to wake up and just use it. All right. My conspiracy of the week, Nubia. Modern society is designed to disconnect people from anything sacred because grounded people are harder to control. My thoughts. If nothing is sacred, then everything is consumable. If everything is consumable, power stays centralized. And if people lose ritual, meaning, and inner grounding, they outsource identity.
Ooh.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I think my thoughts are that's facts.
So you believe that's the conspiracy of the week. You feel grounded people are harder to control, so that's why society just is about just disconnecting us from people.
Yes, I don't even think that's a conspiracy. I feel like that's like a unequivocal fact that is what they're doing. Like they are mining us for our attention. They are keeping us afraid so that we don't think clearly enough to be like, hey, if all of us, if the whole block, if the whole fucking apartment complex don't pay rent because we have a fucking slumlord, something will change. Like, if people are not like, and you have to be grounded to take risks. You have to be grounded to even see your options, and you have to be grounded to withstand the pressure that's going to come to you when you start making a stand against what's happening in your life. But you have to make a stand, and it's not going to be immediately easy on the other side of that stand. And when you're not grounded, that choice becomes more and more and less and less and less attractive. You start to just feel like your life is not worth fighting for, but you only get one of these. Yeah. And if you're distracted, you're not gonna wake up and be like, "Damn, I'm wasting my time."
What would you say is keeping us from being grounded?
I think we're trying so hard to make a dollar. Like, it's so difficult. They made it so difficult to survive, and they've made us reliant on systems that they control.
Right.
So that we've forgotten how to even do this without their help. And then also people are distracted because they don't even know what's important anymore. Right. Or they're not, they can't get a second to think deep enough to figure out what's important. Like, it really comes down to the dollar. That's why I said the workers, the people have the power. And that's where change has to start.
Nice. Everything
Preaching
she's preaching, and she's connecting to every next topic. Like, she's crushing this, So my controversy of the week, and it bleeds into it. I think one of the biggest lies in modern life is that we're chasing happiness, but really we're chasing stimulation. Noise, notifications, drama, sex, content, chaos. We mistake feeling something for actually feeling good. So I want to know, do we confuse stimulation with happiness?
Absolutely.
Damn straight.
Absolutely.
Talk about it.
Damn straight. I think when people, like our experience, people stay in toxic relationships, right? Because they want to feel something. I'd rather feel something than nothing. Something, you know what I'm saying? Even if you yelling at me, if you screaming at me, I'm someone is giving me attention. You know what I mean? And I'm being stimulated, and it keeps me from focusing on my own thoughts, the way how much I don't love myself, how much I don't love my environment. You know what I mean? My true thoughts on how I feel about me gets loud when I'm alone. Not me per se, but to people when they're alone, and they rather be in mess and chaos than listen to their own thoughts and try to do the real work to figure out how to make peace be something that is enjoying. Because when you quiet, in order to be peaceful, you got to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? And people don't like quiet.
Peace is, they say peace is still.
Hey, they don't like that. People don't like that shit at all. They rather be on the phone, you know what I'm saying, listening to music, stimulate. And I really feel bad for these kids, bro, because their attention spans are fucking cooked, dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? Have you seen the videos these kids watch? The stimulation is so bad. You take a phone or you take a they literally have withdrawal symptoms, like literal junkie withdrawal symptoms from that shit. And I'm like, how is this gonna affect their relationship when it comes to love? Like, if you can't stimulate me the way this phone or the way these lights or the way this video game does, then maybe you're not the one for me. When in that reality, we've just been so numbed to feeling stimulants outside of technology that we don't know how to just be still and enjoy holding somebody's hand, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like stimulation has definitely taken over what love used to be. I agree.
Yeah, no, I think read the question one more time.
Do you think we confuse stimulation with happiness?
Yeah, no, and that's okay. Yeah, and the link to what you're saying right now. So I had a realization the other day that I think I realized that I might have ADHD. I promise it's connected. I think I realized some weeks ago that I might have ADHD. And then when I started doing research about it, I was learning that it's I think I already knew that, but I learned more specifically that it's like a dopamine. Like your dopamine it's not high enough. Your dopamine levels are not high enough. So it's like you are constantly looking for dopamine to keep your shits level. Yeah. And then I was thinking about all the ways that I be looking for dopamine and the ways that I do it mindlessly. And I don't know. I don't remember what the connection was between that thought and this thought, but then I remembered that there was another feel-good chemical. It's not just dopamine.
Is it serotonin?
Yeah, there's serotonin, but there's also
what's the third one? I forgot what it is.
Fuck. I wrote it down.
My therapist told me oxytocin. And oxytocin is a specifically anxiety-reducing hormone.
And it's super important. I haven't done
knew
the
that.
research about male bodies, but specifically, it's very, very, very important to hormonal balance. Fuck, I can't talk. Hormonal balance for women. And once I realized that, I was like, I don't do shit that promotes this hormone, because it needs to be like slow. It's like it's a very nurturing energy as opposed to like a very like stimulating energy.
Yeah.
And I think that across the board, people might be like lacking a lot of oxytocin because we're not connecting. Like that's a hormone that gets produced when we are connecting with each other, when we are loving each other, when we are laughing with friends, when we're like holding our babies, like that's. But people are so focused on work or staying alive, they're exhausted, and they're using the dopamine like coffee to keep them awake.
Them going.
That's
When
crazy.
you need like calming, nurturing, real substantive connection and slow down time to have like a restorative. Your body is like draining without it.
Your central nervous system is basically fried.
Exactly.
But our central nervous systems are cooked 24/7, walking around full of anxiety.
This new generation.
I feel like this new generation for sure, but really just in general, like just full of dealing with society's rules of all the things that we have to take care of, and being distracted, like you said, from just holding your child, or just sitting amongst family and just being still. And I just learned something recently, like with ADHD, is one thing that people do is a lot of the time we wait to the last minute to get shit done.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you kind of have anxiety.
Pressure. Yeah.
And
They
that
get you to do it.
pressure releases dopamine.
Yeah.
And so we don't realize that we
cheating,
are
like you trying to cheat
literally,
yourself into,
it's a
like-
fucking cheat code.
Oh, wow.
It's a cheat code. We wait to the last minute on purpose because that dopamine rush we get from anxiety is that lack of dopamine that we've been carrying around to get it done in the first fucking place.
Damn.
That not fucking crazy?
Yeah, it's
That
pretty
is
low.
crazy.
And that
is
blew
crazy.
my
That's
mind,
pretty
yo.
low, bro.
So I feel you on that. That shit, that lack of chemical imbalances in our brains is not talked about enough at all. And that, I think, adds to the us being want to be stimulated versus us actually engaging and being happy.
Yeah.
It's the lack of chemical imbalances in our brains, and they taking
Absolutely.
advantage of that shit.
They are. They absolutely are.
Okay.
We are battery people.
We're gonna segue that. That was segue to my favorite part of the show. Rudy, go ahead and lock and load this. So, Nubia, welcome to the interrogation question portion of this. So, okay, you have 60 seconds to answer these 5 questions as best as you can. And if you
Okay.
don't answer these questions, you have to take the T-Talk shot o'clock. I ain't got the shot right now because at the top of the year I had to pay rent and all this other stuff, so figure it out.
We gonna
so
get
I, so I said I already owe you anyway, Nubia. So
Okay.
with that being
So
said,
I win. Basically,
so, yeah, basically. With that being said, Rudy, you ready?
Yep.
All right, 60 seconds in 3, 2, 1. Nubia, what emotion do you feel the most but talk about the least?
Anger.
Why?
Because I'm afraid of social punishment for being angry.
What part of your personality did you build up just to survive?
My charisma.
Oh, what's something sacred that you protect on purpose?
My solitude.
Why?
Because I'm the rawest bitch I know.
Say
And I need
less.
time with her.
Talk that talk.
Let's go. What's one belief you've outgrown but people still associate you with?
That I'm a fucking baby. Or that I'm like weak. That I'm a bitch. Like, please, I'm not a bitch. Okay, next question.
Say less. And last but not least, what do you think most people are actually afraid of?
Themselves.
Dang, themselves, just straight like that?
Yeah.
Perfection.
Yeah, that was perfection. That was a perfect way to close out. When the last few seconds,
That was fun.
yeah, she crushed it.
Yeah,
She
you
crushed
killed
it.
that.
She said she's no hole around here. Final thought. Somewhere along the way, we started confusing access with connection, stimulation with happiness, and exposure with power. We live in a world that profits off noise, so it makes sense that stillness feels unfamiliar, that peace feels boring, that sacred feels unnecessary. But grounded people don't move how systems expect them to move. They don't need to perform to exist. They don't need chaos to feel alive, and they don't outsource who they are. So maybe the work isn't to find more. Maybe the work is to protect something, protect a ritual, protect a boundary, protect a version of you that doesn't belong on the internet, the timeline, or the crowd. because what you keep sacred is often where your real power lives. My name is Handsome Samson Doseki Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a lot of names, but y'all call me Pro.
It's your boy R.U.D.Y. Stands for Realize Your Destiny is Yours because it is, but you can call me Rudy.
And I am Nubia Yassin. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. Make sure y'all get Still Sacred.
Yes, sir.
Unapologetic,
Slightly
all the
sacred on
things.
all
Yes, sir.
platforms.
Yeah.
Tap
I
in.
appreciate y'all time. Peace. Until next time, y'all. And that's how you do that there.
That was fun. Thank you guys for having me.
Nah, you crushing it. I'm scared to see how many gems we got in this episode, man.
You was preaching in this.
All the homies on TikTok, man. Zeta, what it do?
Zeta.
Yeah, Zeta, what
What
it
it
do?
do?
I
Family.
appreciate you, Zeta. We gonna be up here next. So yeah, all the homies that pulled up. Oh, you know some nice faces pulled up just to say what's up. Okay. All right, y'all. Peace. Pound. Peace, boy. It was so funny. 7 viewers, 370.